perfidious Eldar. They had the stars in their grasp, and now are left to sift the dust of their once fabulous realm. For all their intellect and mysticism, they could not contain the beast within them, nor tame the wild monsters of the shadow. Why should we pay them any heed? From Inquisitor Grunwald of the Ordo Xenos. The Eldari, or the Eldar as they were long known to outsiders, are an ancient and highly advanced species of humanoid Xenos whose vast empire once extended the width and breadth of the known galaxy. In its time, the Eldari Empire was without equal in the galaxy, spreading across both real space and the webway. They counted themselves masters of the stars, and every Eldari was born a potent psyker. Even death was no barrier, for when the Eldari's spirits eventually left their mortal bodies, they dissolved peacefully back into the immaterium to be reborn again in new forms, for the warp did not thirst for their souls then as it does today. But 10 millennia ago, the Eldari's overweening pride and their fall into amoral and hedonistic practices led to a cataclysm that all but eradicated their kind and resulted in the birth of the Chaos God Slaanesh, known as She Who Thirsts to them. Despite their boundless power, the heart of their civilization was torn out by this catastrophe of their own making, forcing many of the surviving Eldari to pursue different strategies for survival to protect their souls from being consumed by She Who Thirsts. These strategies have shaped the nature of the survivors' cultures. In the 41st millennium, there are 5 major subcultures or kindreds of the Eldari species: the Asuryani or Craftworld Eldari, the Drukhari, the Harlequins, the Exodites, and the Ynnari. There are also bands of independents who survive by raiding other species' shipping and commerce, many of whom are Suryani who have left the often rigid and confining culture of their people behind. They are known as the Asuryani Outcasts and the Eldari Corsairs. The Asuryani fled the original homeworlds of the Eldari Empire in great continent-sized starships called Craftworlds. These Craftworlds are now scattered across the galaxy, only connected to each other by the labyrinthine corridors of the webway. The Asuryani seek to protect themselves from the hunger of She Who Thirsts through the use of a soul-capturing psycho-crystalline technology known as Spirit Stones and the rigid code of behavior called the Asuryani Path. The Drukhari are the descendants of those Eldari who originally settled within the webway, particularly the ancient city of Komorar. The Drukhari protect themselves from the hunger of Slaanesh by following what the Asuryani call the Path of Damnation. These piratical people revel in the physical and emotional pain of others, for feeding upon the psychic residue of suffering is the only way they can stave off the slow consumption by She Who Thirsts of their own souls. The Harlequins are the servants of the Eldari laughing god Kegorak, who fled into the webway at the time of the fall of the Eldari and were protected from the thirst of Slaanesh by their god's power. The Harlequins are the keepers of the Eldari repository of chaos knowledge known as the Black Library, and they are the only Eldari who still move freely among all of the other factions. Their purpose is to maintain among their fellows the knowledge of the Eldari mythological cycles that form the foundation of all Eldari culture. The Exodites are those Eldari who fled the ancient homeworlds before the fall and chose to settle on verdant, unsettled planets known as Maiden Worlds. The Exodites are protected from the soul thirst of Slaanesh by unifying their souls upon death with the world spirits of their home planets and from the darker impulses of the Eldari psyche by pursuing lifestyles marked by more hardship and less labor-saving technology than any of their brethren. And the Ynnari, also called the Reborn, are a religious sect of Eldari drawn from all of the other factions who serve the partially awakened Eldari god of the dead, Ynneed. Led by Ynneed's high priestess and chosen prophet, Yvraine, the daughter of Shades, the Ynnari came into existence just before the birth of the Great Rift and the start of the Era Indomitus. The Reborn seek nothing less than the full awakening of Ynneed, who will then do battle with Slaanesh, destroy the Chaos God, and restore the Eldari people to their lost greatness. Ynnari no longer need fear Slaanesh's thirst, for upon death they become one with Ynneed.